like I always say, new knowledge should be able to reduce some level of suffering in your life. You see, if you are the kind of person that you read books, you're the kind of person like many of you in this mentorship program, I get to teach a lot. I know many mentorship programs that, you know, they pay a lot of money sometimes, like $5,000 or a lot of money every month or every year. And they get to have like one teaching session every 2 months, right? But we are so far behind in terms of, the level of success we should be having and the kind of results that we should be producing. And that's why I get to have these master classes and mentorship teaching programs with us so that we can fast track our success, because the fastest way to fast track your success is to access light. Nobody builds, nobody transforms, nobody creates, nobody enhances their ability for wealth creation and prosperity beyond the quality of knowledge and consequently wisdom that they can deploy in order to produce that. And this particular series on moving from a low value economic level to a very high value economic level was intentionally designed to happen at this time, because people in these communities we need to grow to that level. We just have to grow to that level. Grow to that level where you really come to a point in your life. You see, one of the most important places you can grow into, especially internally, mentally, is to come to that place where you have truly changed, or you truly understand, and you have that conviction that from the way you are operating now, money is truly your slave, not you slaving after money. And that's one of the major differences between people that operate at these two levels. People that operate at the high economic level are people that money have become their slave. One major characteristic that you will see in the life of somebody operating at a low economic level is that they are slaving after money, always struggling to pay bills and do many things. So this this particular series is not theory. It is it is practical. It is made up of practical insights that you need to take them, go back to your drawing board, begin to deploy them with one single mission. When it comes to wealth creation, when it comes to experiencing prosperity in terms of finances, especially, I no longer have this particular worry. I am growing consistently. Are there challenges? Yes. But there's a place of growth. There's a place of understanding. There's a place of wisdom that I now command, that when it comes to wealth creation and wealth building, I am consistently advancing forward, despite some challenging situations that may be happening around me. So if you have been following the series, you need to come to that place where you truly know that you are on that concrete journey. You're not guessworking. You see, you will never build a certain kind of life if you're still guessworking things. You will not build it. I'm telling you, you will not build it. Even the Bible talks about that it takes wisdom to build and understanding to establish. It's a spiritual law, and it's a physical law. So the purpose of all of these sessions are not just for you to hear and take some notes like you have been doing. but you are not using what you're hearing to build and to establish. Then you are working against the spiritual law of prosperity. And you're doing a disservice to your destiny. I'm telling you, you're doing a disservice to your destiny. So I want to ask a question again. So this is a mentorship community. Many of you have paid to be here and you submit to me to counsel you, and sometimes I shout at some of you guys. So I want to ask you again before I continue teaching. And there was a time that I asked a question, no mentee answered, and I stopped teaching. And I did not do a mentorship call for 2 months, 3 months, because I was disappointed. And because you see, I get paid very well to do coaching. 1 hour to do coaching. A lot of money. What you guys pay as a mentorship fee is not up to 15 minutes of my time that people can pay for. You get a concept? So if I get to be doing this here, because of that commitment and that love and that conviction, mentorship has never been to make money. Because paying for those who will listen to this and they are in different countries, they pay what? Most of you paid 100,000 francs. Some of you paid less, far less, far less. And what? Less than $100. The only fee you get to pay for years. Some of you have been here for more than 4 years. That's the only fee you get to pay, right? And there is no coaching program I offer now that somebody pays that amount. No, not even 50. When I'm doing a paid program, not even 15 minutes. Now, 15 minutes is worth more than 100,000 francs. So it gets sometimes disappointing if you keep on putting the hard work for people to advance and you're not seeing that advancement. So I'm going to ask a very important question, and I want to see feedback in the chat box. We have handled part 1 and part 2 of how to move from a low economic value level to a high economic value level. And there's a spiritual law in the book of Proverbs that says that by wisdom, a house is built, a life is built, and by understanding, that house or that life is established. And these teachings are platforms for you to get insights, wisdom, and understanding to use for your building and for your establishment, especially in terms of wealth creation. From what you learn in part 1, in part 2, what have you consciously put to use aspect today? Type in the chat box. What have you consciously put to use aspect today? If you have not done anything with it, type nothing. Let's be clear. Nobody's pampering anybody here. Nobody's begging you to be here. Nobody, is babysitting you, right? This is destiny calls. Anytime you're on a mentorship call, it's a destiny call. What you hear can either shift your destiny or shift your career or your business. So it's not just familiarity or a ritual. No, it's always an opportunity for a shift in your destiny. So there are 8 people on this call right now. I'm expecting everybody to leave a comment. Everybody, right now, leave a comment. With what you have heard from part 1, part 2, and now part 3. What have you done with it? Comment in the chat box. I'm waiting. What have you done with it? What is the one insight? What is the one idea? What is the one perspective? What is that one thing that you picked and you're deploying in your life to build your wealth creation process or to establish whatever you're building? What is that thing? What is it? If you have not done anything with it, write nothing. Let's be clear that I know people that have done nothing with it. Okay? You have not followed part 1 and part 2, but yet you're in the mentorship community, and I keep sharing recorded links there. And I'm making up my mind right now. I'm currently working on my online store. After every mentorship program now, and you guys caused this, after every mentorship program, there is no longer free recordings. All are going on my paid store. You want it, you get paid. You're going to pay it on the store and you get it. You don't want it, that's fine. I'm not feeding it there, right? Good. Okay. I'm still expecting feedback from everybody here. Everybody here right now. Okay. So what Kamani is talking about is based on what we handled in part one, and I spoke about skills stacking. There are certain skills that you cannot build and establish wealth creation without having those skills. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. You, you see, if you see the feedback we're getting, you see, one of the most sad things, several years ago, unfortunately, it's a sad thing, but it's a reality at the same time. Several years ago, like 13 years ago, when I used to gather people in Combo at the time, for those who are watching this from different continents, Combo is the northwest, second chief town in the northwest region of Cameroon, where I was born and raised, where I started doing teaching and speaking and all of that. So there was a time that I was really angry. You know, the time there's something that you see, you just see it. Like people around you cannot see it. And you're trying that they should see it. So there was a day that I just got angry. I said, guys, look, the things I'm teaching you and you guys don't want to learn, you're not paying attention, you don't want to pick it. These same things, they're going to make me so successful, and I'll travel several nations. And you guys will likely be in the same spot, in the same location, with nothing to show for. Sadly enough, almost 18 years after, those same guys are in the same place. Sadly enough, as sad as it may sound. Because you never see, it's a spiritual law and it's a physical law. So, like, there are people here right now, you are in the mentorship community, you're in the WhatsApp group, and every program, I understand that we can get busy, which that's why sometimes I always share these links there. But I discovered that when they are shared, majority of the mentees don't pay the price to sit and to go through. They don't pay the price to sit and to go through. So you keep on recycling old ways of doing things, old wisdom, old knowledge, and things that they don't have any capacity to advance what you are building. God's divine law is simple, whether you're a believer or a non-believer. It's a general law for everybody. By wisdom, a house is built, by understanding it's established. And all of this rises and falls on the quality of insights that you get. Quality of insight that you get. And the things I teach you guys are things that my company will do a lot of research, analysis, sometimes interviews here and there. And then we distill this knowledge, convert it into practical strategies that I begin to teach you guys. These are the same things that many people and companies pay a lot of money to have me teach them. So, because I am talking this way because I know many of you. And sometimes I get to see, I get to perceive. And sometimes I want the challenge of God being able to you see, one of my greatest spiritual gifts is that God easily shows me where somebody's supposed to be, and then but they are not there. I easily see it. My number one spiritual gift is word of wisdoms, divine strategies. Like I see somebody struggling, suffering about something. God easily tells me, okay, this person here because of this. If you tell them to do this and this, they're gonna see this. That's one of my most powerful spiritual gifts. So God easily shows me that, hey, you see this person? where they are right now, this is not where they're supposed to be. Where they are right now, there's a place that they're supposed to be now that they have not arrived. They have missed out on destiny moments and they're not where they're supposed to be. See somebody who's struggling financially, and God says this one, by now they should have experienced financial rest and financial freedom. But because they did not align, they missed out. They missed out on it. So men, mentorship program. Sometimes I would just ask myself, but why do some people sign up for mentorship? Like, really? Maybe because it's too cheap, right? maybe that's the case. And like I said, because what I've noticed, people with what is too free, people don't value it. So very soon, maybe from next week, every mentorship training I've ever had will no longer be public. And anytime I do a live training like this, when it's done, it will not be public. It goes to the online store. You want it, you pay for it, and you get it like every other person. Like every other person, right? For example, in a mentorship community, we're what? Over 70 something people. But sometimes we struggle. People find it difficult to even get even 20 people on the call. But yet, year in, year out, you find the same struggles, the same challenges, the same problems. And it's not because life is that difficult. I have seen many of you do mistakes of things I have taught in the past. You repeat mistakes of things, but I'm, in my mind, I'm like, but I taught you this. Why are you making these kind of mistakes? Why you're not supposed to be at this level based on what you should know. You see, you don't know I'm talking this way, but I've been thinking about this. I have been thinking about this. Okay. So you have to make up. You see, let's do a quick exercise here. Between 1 to 10, between 1 to 10, rate, rate yourself on how much you really put to use the things that you learn from this mentorship community between 1 to 10. But many of you, so I know many of you, you have missed the majority of the mentorship programs that you missed. You never even watch the recorded sessions. Never, ever, ever watch them. And here's the funny thing, right? Here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing. People who are not mentees in this community, when I publish the videos on YouTube publicly and they watch it, my goodness, I have had more testimonies of people watching mentorship teachings on YouTube and practicing them and producing results more than mentees here. I can say that just about 5 mentees per se I can say who are operating at that level. But I have seen that people from who just stumble on the videos on YouTube publicly, when they follow it, they're like, my goodness, I did this, I changed this, I corrected this, and this is how my business changed. My finances changed. My life changed this way. Right? My life changed this way. You see, so there needs to be a shift, guys. There needs to be a shift. You have to, you see, funny enough, your rising depends on you. Your rising depends on you. There's just so much I can do. But it gets painful, not painful like, painful in a way that by God's grace, he has put me in a position where I can see somebody and God begins to speak to me and show me pictures, visions about this person. See this person, they are not where they're supposed to be. This is not their location. They are late in their destiny. So it gets painful, especially mentees. Sometimes I'll just reach out to a mentee and just check how are you doing, what's happening to you. I just want to gauge based on what maybe the Holy Spirit ministered to me or revealed to me. I just want to get a sense of it. You see. So please, I have taken almost 30 minutes just talking about this. I have shared a few times. Many people, you see, if you follow me as a mentee and you have not understood two things about me, then you have not caught one of my greatest secrets to my rising. How much I pursue God, and then secondly, how much I pursue knowledge. If you're not able to catch these two things for me as a mentor, you have not caught my top secrets. You have not. And especially like knowledge, my mind changed to a whole new level again the day God gave me an encounter and showed me. I saw a man standing in the dark. I could not see the face. Maybe it was me, I don't know, but I could not see the face. But this guy was standing in the dark, but his body was beaming with light. And then as he was, there was like some movement or action like this. That's what they, but he was surrounded by darkness everywhere, like in a dark glow, in a dark glow. So there was some movements like this in that spiritual encounter. And then as he was doing like that, the light that was beaming from him was expanding, was increasing, was expanding, was increasing. And the darkness was being pushed away, being pushed away. When I came out of that encounter, the Lord said, that's what happens when you grow in light, in understanding, in knowledge, not only of scriptures, professional knowledge, business knowledge, career knowledge, strategy knowledge, what I'm teaching you guys. I'm teaching you guys on how to move from a low economic value person to a high economic value person. Let me tell you, the research was done and it showed that on average, it's not a public research, but just a small group of people, and they came to a conclusion that on average, a human being has the capacity to have an idea. Every human being can have an idea that can make them at least $300 million in their lifetime. That means all of us here, we have the capacity to make $300 million in our lifetimes, minimum. Now, you can convert to a local currency, that's billions. But you see, that cannot happen if you don't know certain things. I always tell you guys, there are things that people learn in the school of the poor. That's why they stay poor. There are things that when you learn about the school of the rich, you rise to the top. Sadly enough, there are many people who keep receiving this kind of knowledge, or they're in a community that gives them wisdom and insight that you only get to learn in the school of the rich, but yet they're still thinking, acting, and behaving and producing results like people who are attending the school of the poor. Didn't plan to have the discussion today, but we just have two habits. Because I'm not just saying it, I'm saying it also by revelation. Many of you are not 10% gone into your destiny. Majority of, like basically 99% of you. Because I can feel it. I always intercede for mentees. I always pray for the mentor, every mentees. So as a spiritual person, when you're interceding for somebody and the burden, there's a burden, there's a weight in the spirit. The weight is heavy. And I know that side. I know it. I know it. There's that burden, that heavy weight. I know it. And that heavy weight, anytime I'm interceding, keep going to, these people are not living the way God wants them to live. They are not advancing at the speed God wants them to advance. They are not. That's why, if you notice, in the last 2 months, I'm taking almost 3 series consistently throughout the communities. Because there's something, because people never, your limited knowledge also limits the move of God in your life. Your limited ability to deploy knowledge limits the move of God in your destiny, guys. I'm not just ranting. What I'm saying is destiny matters. You know, my greatest fear, one of my greatest fears is that 10 years later, 10 years later, someone should not say, and that guy used to be a fellow mentee with me with Dr. Joybert. And Dr. Joybert used to be my mentor. That's one of the worst things that can happen to you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Because this is happening because I've seen the same cycle repeating itself. I want to share another story. Like I shared one in Kumbo. There are guys I told them in Kumbo, the things I'm teaching you guys, the things I want you to learn, we may be in the same place right now, having almost the same result. But there's something I have seen. There's something I am learning and I'm practicing. My life cannot end in this village. These same things I'm teaching you guys will take me to nations. I will talk to kings and presidents, and I'll be highly sought after. Few years after, started happening. And everybody I said that to them, they're still in that same village today. Guess what? Joybert used to be a close friend. We used to eat together. In Baminda, the same thing. That was even before Kumbo. I used to do Okada, commercial motorbike riding. I used to do car wash, Okada, work in building construction sites, give bricks and cement. After that, I'll go and learn and study. We were living in a boys' quarters house like this. Everybody was doing Okada in that boys' quarters. I'll be reading, I'll be studying, I'll be reading, I'll be studying, and I'll tell them, this is the fastest way to the top. Go to school. I will emphasize on many of them. Go and do evening school. None of them accepted. None of them accepted my advice. Guess what? Unfortunately, one died because of funny living, and he died. Others still in the same place, in the same quarter, in the same community, almost a decade after. I'm not perfect. I don't get things right. But if I see that it works, I'll keep paying the price to perfect it, to refine it, to improve it every single day. By wisdom, a house is built. By understanding, it is established. The only reason that you come to this mentorship course is for me to teach you what you need to use to build and to establish. Or you go pay the price to find it for yourself. And unfortunately, many people don't have the time to pay the price. For example, I love to read books. I can spend 6 hours reading and I enjoy it. Not everybody loves to do that. I have the gift of distilling, systemizing, processing, creating concepts and frameworks, and people implement and they see mind-blowing results. So I take all of that to give you in 1 hour of distilled practical teaching, but yet, majority of the people in this call don't put it to work. See, I always tell people there, as long as you are below 40, you need to work massively hard, execute at the highest level, learn as much as you can at the highest level. From 40 and above, you're consolidating, you're balancing, you're establishing, you're perfecting. There's an age where you begin to build. There's a stage you begin to establish, begin to expand, begin to perfect. But unfortunately, people are clocking 35, and 40. They're not even building right. They're not even building right. Not to talk of building itself. Not to talk of establishing before expansion. Because you see the threats. 99% of the mentees who dominate up to the mentorship calls never follow up with the recorded session. Never. They trivialize it. And it's not as if when they don't follow up, they go and read on their own. No, they don't. Because if they were reading on their own and they were acquiring more knowledge and more significant wisdom that is more relevant than what I'm teaching, their lives will show better results than what we keep seeing. Because wisdom must produce children. I wrote for those who are in my newsletter. Let me share it. For those who are in the newsletter, I said something. For those who received it today, let me share it. Because I'm just saying, if you claim you're a mentee and you missed out on a mentorship call and you don't follow up, I expected that, fine. Okay. I said the hidden voice that moves destinies and markets, talking about wisdom. Dear Mogul and all of that. You can read this letter. This is me when I was speaking in Dubai about 2021 or so. I'm looking for this. Okay. I said, the real test of wisdom is not how much you know, but how much is transformed because you showed up. Your creations, your systems, your influence, your results, your legacy. Wisdom is the invisible force behind visible impact. Like I'm saying. So I'm just saying that if you're a mentee in this community and you don't attend a live call like this, and I share the Zoom, the recording in the group, and you don't listen to me, I would think that, okay, you didn't have time to listen to this one, maybe because you're reading a book or you're listening to other programs. But sadly, many people don't, because if you were to see proofs of you growing in wisdom, if you are listening and growing or reading and growing, because the proof of wisdom, the real test of wisdom is not how much you know, but how much is transformed because you showed up. How much is your life, your family, your nation transforming because you are there or because you showed up in terms of creations, systems, your influence, your results, your legacy. Impact is a product of an invisible force known as wisdom. Okay. This was not supposed to be a discipline call, right? But we had to bring, maybe somebody needed to be whipped with words here right now. Somebody needed to be spoken to, needed to be challenged, needed to be reminded, needed to be, scolded if that's necessary. Maybe because you have been too comfortable, too, too comfortable, too comfortable. So please, guys, there's so much that we can do. You guys have no idea. There's so much God wants to do with you. So much. So much. There is no mentee here that God wants to do little with you. None. I can say that. I can say, see, I am not just I'm not just an excited mentor. I don't do excited mentorship program, guys. I take my time, 12 a.m., 3 a.m. on my altar, and I create the time and I just intercede for everybody who calls me mentor in this group. Consistently. So I know it. So if there was somebody here that was designed to be a failure, God would have told me, because there's something called the law of free will. When you submit yourself to another higher, to a spiritual father or a mentor like this, in the spirit realm, there's a law of free will. So God can intend something to me about you. And I can stand on my altar because of you and say, Father, mercy for this one. Father, bless this one. And the Lord will hear because of the law of free will that you have submitted to me as a mentee. So if there was somebody here that was not destined for massive things, or somebody who was being slowed down because of certain things, God has said this one needs to be handled. The challenge for many people is that lack of responsibility, that lack of commitment, that lack of paying their own price. Guys, there is a place for you to pay your own price. There is an entry cost. There is a destiny cost. In any life you find progress, you will find cost. You find responsibility. You find it. You find it. The supernatural does not take away the natural. The supernatural does not take away the natural. Peter must keep fishing and let Jesus come and add the supernatural on his natural. The supernatural does not replace responsibility or hard work. The difference is with your hard work and responsibility and effort, the supernatural causes your natural to skyrocket at a high level. At a high level. The supernatural means that Precious is working hard, Mispa is working hard, Shabda is working hard. And God says, okay, this responsibility and what we're doing, I'm going to entrust you with what I call the grace for acceptance. Nations will accept you, or companies will accept you. I'm going to give you favor. I'm going to entrust favor upon you so that whatever you begin to do, you become a magnet to people that make sense. But many people frustrate the supernatural because of the absence of the natural and natural responsibility, natural discipline, natural learning, natural practice, natural experimentations. There needs to be a shift. There needs to be a shift for everybody that is in this community. You're on this call. For somebody, this is God's warning to you. For somebody, this is God's warning to you. I'm speaking this now prophetically as I'm receiving it. For somebody, this is God's warning to you. God gave you an open season, and that season is about to close. And if you don't wake up and do your part, you're going to miss a Kairos breakthrough season. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up before you miss it out. Every one of us on this call, you need to step up. You think you've been doing it, you need to step up. Except comfort is what you have chosen to be. Except you have chosen that me, I am comfortable just being maybe renting, comfortable having a basic job, and you can live hand to mouth, take care of your basic bills and have a few francs left that you can manage your life, and then you're good. You are not looking for more. You are not seeking for more impact, more relevance, more dominance, more industry, influence. You are not seeking to bring massive glory to God with the works of your hands. Then it's not for you. It's not for you. This is not for you. But if you have been pursuing these things I have mentioned, and you know within you there is this yearning, this desire, this hunger. You know something keeps telling you, and that's the Holy Spirit. You keep having this witness, this prompting that there's more out there for you. You keep having it. Then step up your game. Step up your game. Step up your game. You cannot keep doing things that people who attend the school of the poor keep doing and expect to live the life of people who attend the school of the rich. That doesn't work. That's a spiritual discrepancy. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like I always tell you guys, you cannot lead a generation when you do everything that they do. You think like them, you speak like them, you act like them, you spend the same amount of time on social media like them, you watch movies like them, you hang out the same way like them. You will never lead them. You're already conformed like them. So you don't have anything that makes you stand out for them to run to you. Nothing. Nothing. You have nothing to offer to them. So you cannot stand out and you cannot lead, you cannot influence, and you cannot produce results better than that because you have conformed. You are running the same script they're running. So you're producing the same results they're producing. There is so much out there, people. So much. You guys have no idea how much this generation needs genuine, authentic wisdom leaders. You have no idea. No idea. No idea. Some of you here, there are hundreds of thousands of people whose destinies are tied to your destiny until you rise. Until you rise. Until you rise. So get tired of tradition. Get tired of rituals. Get tired of conformity. Get tired of running the same old script. Get tired of following popular culture. Get tired of following societal stereotypes, even your family stereotypes. Get tired. Break out of it. Break out of it. That's the only way. That's the only way you have. And that's why I keep having these painstaking teaching sessions. Because I know that without this, without these things that we do in this community, nobody can rise above it. Nobody rises by guesswork. Nobody. Anybody you see doing better than you in any industry, there's something they know. There's a body of knowledge they are commanding, they are wielding that you have no idea about. No idea about. There are people they're working with that you cannot have access to. You can only have access to those kind of people if you command superior knowledge. They will not say, okay, this person now, from what they're able to bring to the table, they need to come into this room. Then they bring you to that room and your success skyrockets. Your success begins to grow and begins to advance. Go do a reflection. Go do a reflection. Go do a reflection of all that we have handled today. Go do a reflection. Some people need to repent. You need to make up your mind. If you are not in my newsletter community, click that link. Read the article I just shared, the extra we made. Read from the beginning to the end, so that there are some things that you guys must get from the things that I wrote there. So please read, subscribe if you have not subscribed. There are some things that I don't share in the group, but I send on the email list to people that follow. Over what? How many people in that list now? Close to 10,000 people. There are people that they only read from me and they celebrate as if, you know what I mean? And then there are you guys that have access, sometimes almost weekly. What do you do with it? So today has ended up being a disciplined, serious mentor-mentee discussion. Right? Some of you here, you're lucky that I have never shouted at you one-on-one. You're lucky. And maybe sometimes, for those I've shouted at, I've never called you or sent you a voice note shouting at you. Not that you're doing well. Because one thing about me is that when you're too, I just like, I'm not interested in, I'm not going to waste my energy. I'm not going to waste my energy on this one. Trust me. But you don't, if you don't want it. But if I've ever done it to you, know, know and know that you're doing something that I know that you're getting it, you're almost there, and there are some things that you can no longer be doing because of where you are and because of what you now know. There's a level of advancement that I'm seeing that you should be experiencing because of how far we have come in this mentor-mentee relationship. I want to take questions and then we're done. So I ended up not teaching how to move from low value economic person to high value economic person, part four. Part three, not part four. So we're going to do it. I'm going to finish that series because it's a critical foundation. I must teach all the 7 strategies on how to move to that level. So that if 10 years after, how many years after, we met and you're still broke, it's not that I did not do my part. I did my part to teach you all that I know. And you were the one who failed to deploy what I was teaching you. So whether we do it till April, till May, no problem. We're going to teach all of it. And I give you all that we discovered from our research and studies and analysis and practice and experimentations. Like I always say, anything I teach you guys, know that I've been working on it for at least 1 year. So this idea I'm teaching you is more than 1 year old. It's not wake up and teach ideas. I have a whole research team I work with. I'm not one of those trainers who just read people's books and come and do this here and there. So the things I teach you will not find them on Google anyhow. They are refined, tested, unique, strategic, conceived, crafted for a generation according to my style, my calling, and the generation I am in. Okay? Okay. Questions, and then we're done. Ask me questions. If there are personal questions, go ahead. Ask questions. Type in the chat box. If you want to be anonymous, send a private chat and I'll answer it anonymously. But ask questions. Why are you struggling with these things that I found out? Why? Ask your questions. Ask your questions. Yes, Kamani, go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
Today was really a particular day. And you've really been putting a lot of emphasis on the naturals, but the natural not just coming alone, but it has also to do with the natural. So we need to study to be approved. Please, I want to find out. I love reading too, but sometimes it looks like it's overwhelming or what's the aim of it all? Because I read here, I read there, I read here, I read there. To be honest, I don't have a clear view of my life purpose. So at this point, I'm still in the journey of discovering why I am on earth. But I do whatever I can to discover my purpose. So in terms of having knowledge, I really want to find out what body of knowledge you're talking about because when I read, it's like I've read a lot and Sometimes I find myself sharing it with people around me, even in just basic conversations. I can share what I read maybe in a book, but I really want to find out how am I going to really consolidate this knowledge. As you were saying, a time will come where I will need to use it. How do I really handle it?
Okay. Now you have answered the question because you see, you don't read for reading's sake. There is there are billions of books out there. There are billions of videos out there. You don't just read or learn for learning's sake. No, you learn to solve a problem in your life. You learn to advance a cause. You learn because you have noticed that there is this problem and you are lacking in wisdom as far as that challenge is concerned. There is where you want to go, and your knowledge is inadequate to get you there. So if you're buying books, paying for courses, all of that, it should be to solve a problem. Never sit to read without having a problem you want to solve in your life, career, and business. That's leisure. That is not strategic reading. That is not problem solving reading. So that's why it's important to know clearly what is your purpose, what is your vision, career vision or business vision, what is your, these two are critical, your purpose and then your vision, because your vision comes from your purpose. Then you can break your vision into small goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, or yearly goals. So find that. So if you're still struggling with your purpose, then read books on purpose. There's even a whole training I did on Purpose Academy on my YouTube channel. I'll find it. I don't know, but you can go on my channel and search. I think you find it there. A lot of things you should not be saying by now you don't know your purpose. If you have been around me for so long, then something is missing out. And of course, as a believer, you should be able to clearly go to God about it too. And He will tell you clearly, begin to speak to you, order your steps, begin to reveal to you based on what you're called to do, right? So, career vision, the other day you were talking about you being a coordinator now. And then we said, okay, fine. If you love people, then build a pathway into human resource capital management development and all of that. That could be a career vision now in that pathway. So whatever you're studying professionally should be around that industry and that pathway for you to grow in that path. Question answered? Okay, is there another question? Okay. If there's no other question, we're going to, yes, Durance, go ahead.
Good evening, Doctor. Good evening, everyone.
Yes, good evening.
Doctor,
Go ahead.
please, I want to find out, how do you make a balance between um your spiritual life and work? Because I have this challenge that there are some time, for a long time now, I actually struggle like the majority of my time I tend to focus on my spiritual life. I focus on praying and studying the word, so most of my time is channeled towards prayer. But I think there needs to be a balance between career and spiritual life. How do we find that period of a balance?
Now, it's, you see, everybody has time. For example, all the time that you have set aside for, it could be family, working, sleeping, and all of that, right? You can take that time that you're setting aside for your personal development and your spiritual growth. You can divide that time. It could be equally. There are seasons I do that, where I divide the time I have into There's things that I start with my spiritual growth first. I do my prayers, I do my Bible studies, all of that. Then I read my book for the day and all of that and do my write-ups. And then within that time, and then boom, I'm done. So at some points, most of the times, they are equally divided. Then there are some seasons that if let's say you're going through spiritual warfare or you're waiting upon the Lord for some things to happen, sometimes for me, all that time is dedicated to just spiritual things. I don't read books, any other book. If you see me reading a book, I'm reading a book on maybe that spiritual thing I want to grow into, or I'm reading a book on just maybe I'm just praying, I'm just doing Bible studies and all of that. It's under that. But when I come out from that season, I go back to my normal routine where the time is equally divided for my spiritual stuff and then, of course, my personal development, professional growth, and creating the things that I get to create, like training programs and consulting solutions and all of that, right? So that's what you could do. So what do you have when you divide your resting time, your working time, your family time, whatever, the time that you have set aside for, let's say for now, you have just, you want to provide 2 hours every day for spiritual growth and personal development. And that time for you is, let's say, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Okay, fine. You can just take 1 hour for spiritual growth and 1 hour for professional development, right? Then in seasons that you need to double down on one, especially spiritual growth. I never reduce my spiritual growth time. I don't care what I'm working on. That's my law. I never reduce it. It only gets to increase. I'm not going to tell you how many hours I do my stuff between me and my God, but I never reduce it. So it can only increase. So the only thing that can suffer is my personal development time, right? So, but for spirituality, that one is standard, is set. Nothing should affect that one. That's personal commitment and decision between me and God, right? So, if you want to do the same, fine. But even if it's 30 minutes you can spare, you can start with 30 minutes. You can decide 15 minutes prayer and Bible study, 15 minutes read a book. Start from there. If it's 1 hour you can provide, fine. Start from there. 30 minutes prayer, Bible study, 30 minutes read a book. Fine. Start from there. Don't go and start 4 hours. When the last 10 years, you have not read one chapter of a book, you will not sustain it. Your body will fight you, your brain will fight you. Rabbit, what time do you have? Let the two go together. Let the two go together. One should not suffer because of the other. Then you are missing up the whole thing. Okay. Okay. Any
Thank you,
last
Doctor.
question? Awesome. Any last question? So Kamani remind me, I will check on my YouTube channel. I did a Purpose Academy program, and some people had amazing testimonies, and they discovered their purpose, especially because the groundwork of my teaching is Bible-based. So it's going to lead you easily. I will check on my YouTube channel and share with you all the videos and you can go through and perfect it. Because you should not be doubt when you're, I always tell people that one of the best things that can happen to you, especially when you're clocking like 25 and above, is to begin to perceive and have a strong sense and almost clarity that this is my purpose. It may not align with your current work or what you studied in school because your purpose doesn't even, it ranks higher than that. And in one way or the other, what you studied in school will help your purpose in one way or the other. It's God just he has a way of making sure that happens. Okay. But one of the best things that can happen to you when you're clocking 25 and above, when you're trying to do things here and there, should be coming to that closure where when you're entering like 30, you are more certain that this my life, I mean, with whatever I'm working right now, what I'm doing right now, but there's a life mission that I now discovered and I have seen. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, that's good. Edwin, watching videos. I have almost 1,000 videos on my YouTube channel. Right. So there are so many videos that you can go to see videos as far back as 2018. Right. And they will challenge you. You cannot spend time on my YouTube channel and fail in life. It's impossible. Cannot happen. It's impossible. Awesome. All right, people. Today ended up to be a correction, discipline, what have you session, but it was necessary. And I pray that it's a wake-up call for all of us. All of us. For me, I'm always challenging myself every day, because there's so much to do, so much. And there's so much God has in store for us. So much. He just needs us to keep on growing and aligning with what He plans for us. All right. Is that somebody sharing the videos on the YouTube channel? Okay, good. Awesome. You got to see so many videos on purpose that I did on different things. Thank you, Rita, for doing that. All right, people, have a good night rest and God bless you.